how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Postgame presented by Bet365. Of course, our entire Flyers opening week is brought to you by our friends at Crooked T. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games following the Flyers' first win of the season. Joining me here live in the Xfinity studio, it is Mr. Flyperbly himself, Steve Jaco.
That looked comfortable, Bill. You know, you sounded great. You've never sounded better than muffled through the underdog mask.
Yeah, so just to let you know, we are brought to you by Bet365 and Flyers' entire opening week brought to you by our friends at Crooked T, just in case I had to muffle that. But let's get one more for Rick Tocchet's first win. Woo! Woo! A big 5-2 victory at the Xfinity Mobile Arena.
A Ric Flair reaction for Rick Tocchet.
Woo! Woo! Styling and profiling were the Philadelphia Flyers. Again, I am Bill Matz. That's Steve Jaco. Joining us in a little bit will be Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. But Steve, the Philadelphia Flyers, 1-1-1, undefeated in the Xfinity Mobile Arena, and I have to believe that means the curse is finally lifted.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what the curse was all this time.
It was the Wells Fargo, yeah.
Yeah, it was just the Wells Fargo of it all. Not like it didn't go through like 16 different bank names during the time there.
At least they were decent for a lot of that time, but Charlie holds I think it was in between the end of 2010 and the beginning of the 2010-11 season that it changed from Wachovia to Wells Fargo. So he has maintained that it was the Wells Fargo curse, lifted tonight with a victory over the defending three-time Eastern Conference champions and back-to-back Cup champions.
What an impressive win tonight. I really was not... I haven't had high expectations for them in any of these first three games, and because they're tough opponents. I mean, Florida's back-to-back champs. Carolina's one of the best teams in the East every year.
They're right there every year, 100-point team.
They hung tough with them in the first two games. I mean, they were one-goal games. They were games that the Flyers should have gotten blown out in. And then tonight, they took it to the champs. I thought Florida was going into sicko mode late in that game because this was when I was getting to the studio and I'm watching on my phone and going up the stairs and going, what the hell is going? God, it just looked like Florida was taking control and they put the game on hard mode for the Flyers. And they were like, all right, now we're going to really show up for this game.
I want to get into a lot of different aspects of this game. And when we talk about the power play, I'm going to use the old visually it's better. It is.
It's true.
I mean, visually, could it be worse? Like
if I'm using the eye touch,
but
Bill.
When they scored that shorthanded goal late in the second, it kind of felt like, here we go. Like it kind of felt as if Flyers hung tough. They did what they could against a depleted but still really freaking good Panthers team. And they were able to take control back in the third period. They add the couple of empty netters, and here we are with a 5-2 win. At 1-1-1 now, it's funny. They've lost two of their first three, but a positive goal differential, +1 in the goal differential category.
They got points in 2 of the 3 games.
Points in 2 out of 3. Rick Tocchet, we will get into some of the decisions as we move along, but first win as the Flyers head coach, does it in front of the home crowd. Hard to ask for a better home opener, Steve.
Absolutely. And also you get the Bernie Parent tribute at the beginning of the game. You weren't there for that?
I did not. I did pregame and got there like 6 minutes into the action.
I'm impressed. You hustled tonight.
My wife can drive.
Yeah. I'm at home making soup and just like going, and you're just driving all over the city to try and get to the Flyers game for 2 periods and then get back here and talk with me for like a true sicko. But man, it was just a special night because, you know, you have the Bernie tribute, right? And that's, I think, weighed on a lot of our hearts. We want to pay proper tribute to a Flyers legend. And then you want to see these new guys. And I think the guy that we've been most excited for to see this season and see him finally do something special is Trevor Zegras. And we finally got that moment tonight, Bill.
TZ, baby. He made some plays. He was one of the things that stood out to me on the power play. Some of their breakouts and things look different, creative. The play to Sean Couturier on the game winner. It's everything you want to see because it's the creative playmaking. He's behind the net, which is always, oh man, a pass from behind the net. You don't tell me that led to some offense. Wow, shocker. But it's also He has Ekblad coming in on him. I think it was Bennett on the other side. He avoids most of the contact, makes a play, and then is able to get the puck out front so Couturier can absolutely bury it. And
that's like a real life Mighty Ducks situation there, where you have two giant guys coming for you and you kind of duck out of their way. Like he just kind of slides out of the hit, because I thought they were going to bury him behind the boards and that behind the net, and that would be it. And he just kind of slides away. And then he makes this backhand pass through traffic to Sean Couturier that Couturier buries. And it was just so cool to see. And just to see vision from Zegras, to see somebody play make besides Brink or, Michkov, who, we'll talk about Michkov because he kind of hasn't done that so far this year.
Yeah.
But to see Zegras do it, that really was something special. And it's just nice to see something from the guy that we have very high expectations for this season.
I want to start it talking about the captain tonight.
Yes.
Because we all remember, we have referenced it several times in the last few episodes, home opener a year ago. He is relegated to fourth line left wing. Tonight, a 4-point night against the defending champs, a couple of goals, a couple of assists, and honestly wanted him to be a little more selfish on that empty netter, get another hat trick, because he's been the hat trick guy, despite kind of being like, okay, his offensive upside days are behind him, 70-point days are behind him. I don't know if he's ever going to get back to 30, 70-plus points the way he was when he was centering Claude Giroux, finishing, winning the Selke, finishing as a runner-up. But a night like tonight against that team makes you wonder what's left in the tank for number 14.
I hope there's a lot left in the tank, and I'm hoping getting away from John Tortorella is a big part of that for Couturier, because in retrospect, it seemed like they had a terrible relationship. It's a wonder that he named him captain at any point at all, because it seemed like they just did not get along with each other. And Couturier, not only did he have that great one-timer goal from Zegras to win the game, our guy, our slow captain, had a breakaway goal. And what a goal it was on so many levels, because number one, it was just great seeing him, kind of cherry pick and get the breakaway goal. But the setup, everything that led to it, Travis Sanheim
play.
Travis Sanheim gets the steal. He has a nice pass to Travis Konechny. Travis Konechny sees Sean Couturier on the other side of the ice, makes a tremendous pass all the way over to him, and he buries the goal. I mean, it was just a thing of beauty. And you saw it was the Flyers leadership all working together to get a great goal on opening night.
And it's they needed the victory. As much as the first two games you can almost look at as semi-moral victories. Like, all right, man, these, like we said at the top, two really good freaking teams. Tonight you get Florida's backup, but you had Bob in the opener, and you have, Carolina, which is a threat to win the Metro every single year. Eventually they're going to break through and get to a cup final, you think.
You would think.
You would think. But two of the best teams in the East. You hang tough. You do end up with the 1 point, but tonight they finally break through, and it was really nice to see them break through the way, like you said, the leadership doing it to lead to that Coots goal and to feel the game slipping away a little bit. You get to that shorthanded goal they allow near the end of the second. They get a couple of power plays. They score on the second one early in the third. I think there's more than half the third left. It's a tie game, and you're like, what, are they going to win? Are they going to make the clutch plays against the freaking Florida Panthers to put this thing away?
Right.
And they're able to turn the tide a little. Vladar comes up with some more saves. And I think it all really starts with the captain's effort tonight.
Absolutely. And that tying goal, Bennett ties it up 10-15 third period. And you're thinking this is it, because the Panthers were killing them when that happened, because they really poured it on to get that power play in the first place. And they just take it to them. They get that power play goal. It feels inevitable. It's Bennett with assists from Reinhart and Marchand. So you talk about leadership on that team. Those are the guys with their top two players out. Those are their leaders. So that's what they do to establish themselves. But the Flyers, to their credit, even before Couturier scores there, they come back and they really make some aggressive plays down the other end to stay in this game and really just assert themselves back in there. Hathaway gets a penalty in his, charge at the net, which I think was ridiculous, but I like the aggressiveness from Hathaway. I like him trying to take the game back. I thought the fourth line had some nice plays tonight overall.
You know what? If Hathaway is going to take offensive zone penalties, do that every game.
Every time.
Rattle the goalie a little bit, give yourself a scoring chance, leave it in the ref's hands. Listen, they call it tonight. maybe if he was a little more under control, maybe if he had a half a step before he cuts, it's a different, then you're able to be like, yeah, he had his hand in his back. It's really not him. I guess it's a borderline call. I hate seeing it, especially when it's our team.
I don't like
but
it.
I don't like it. It's like,
But I get why they call it.
I get why they call it because they don't know.
But
there
also,
really is no rule. It's a judgment call, and the refs just make it up as they go.
And I know we just ran into this on Saturday, so it's a very sore topic for a lot of people. But when you have a young goaltender in Tarasov, you have the backup goaltender. I know it's tough for the Flyers. You know, you're like, well, it's the backup. They should beat him every time. But it's always tough. He's an NHL goaltender, and I know the Flyers' history of backups. But also, the Flyers only had 22 shots in this game. Florida's still a good defensive team that's not letting them through. And they have to take their opportunities where they can. And if you have a chance to rattle that goaltender, that young goaltender, because you're not going to rattle Bob at this point in his career.
No.
But this is a guy maybe you can get in his head a little bit and get down there and, you know,
I did think, and then killing that penalty was huge. Special teams played a big role tonight. It's funny to think they give up a shorty for to bring them within one. They give up a power play goal to make it to tie the game, and yet somehow I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like special teams tonight. Maybe there was the one power play where they win the faceoff. I think they had the entire 2 minutes in the zone. The second unit never even gets on. They don't score. They have some chances. I think that's the Michkov has the one-timer. The crowd tonight acknowledges like, yo, you know what? You didn't score. But that was one of the best power plays we've had in like 3 years.
That's the thing. Like the power play to the eye test, right? Like it looks significantly better. They're being more creative. They're being more assertive in the zone.
It's not just slingshot.
It's not just slingshot. Like they're getting in there, they're screening the goaltender, and they're trying different things out. And it at least looks better to me. It's more satisfying to watch.
The break-in, break-out plays are a lot more creative. It's not just one thing. It's not just defenseman skates it to the red line, drops it to Konechny. Konechny tries to hit with speed. Like it's so much different than that. They're creating variations of that. Tonight they did it and then went right away with it. Back pass up the boards from Zegras to get a zone entry. It's looking a little bit different, and that's all we can ask for at this point. We know it's not going to be a top 10 power play.
No,
we know it's not even probably going to be an especially good power play.
But as long as it's not the worst in the league, I'm pretty happy.
They're not losing momentum on power plays. It's not the other team had the puck the entire time, except for, you know, one of them.
The last 2-3 years, maybe forever, it's just felt like when they get the man advantage, they're actually worse. Like they played better last year on the penalty kill. They were more dangerous to score a goal
over the last 2 years,
penalty kill than they were on the power play. So they were 0 for 5 tonight, but
it didn't feel like it.
It didn't feel like it. It felt like they actually had some good momentum. They had some chances, but they also held Florida to only 1 for 5. And I think that's a really big thing. We were worried about Bradshaw, right? When Bradshaw left, is this team still going to be able to have a good penalty kill? With, you know, the personnel change, I think we've seen a lot of, you know, bumps in the road as far as taking on a new system. Certainly have seen it with some of the top talent on this team, which is why it was nice to see somebody not on the Cates-Foerster-Brink line score.
That was nice.
But, you know, to see the penalty kill still be effective and the new guys they plugged in there like Dvorak be effective has been a really encouraging sign early on.
And I think goaltending has been a big part of it. Last year, penalty kill took a big hit, and it wasn't nearly as dangerous, wasn't nearly as effective. And yeah, you can blame the defense. It just wasn't as good without Sean Walker. They weren't as dangerous. But also, when you have no confidence in the goaltending, it's really hard to be like, you know what, I'm going to take a little bit of a chance here. And it feels like that's coming. I want to talk about Dan Vladar on the other side. But first, I'm telling you about a couple of our sponsors. Holiday steals are here at Ashley. That's right. I know it's not quite Halloween, but this time of year, we're already looking towards the holidays. It's the perfect time to get your home ready for the season and save big. From stunning dining sets for all your holiday feasts to super cozy sectionals perfect for movie nights, they have everything you need to make this season magical. And the more you shop, the more you save with up to 25% off store-wide, or you can take advantage of their special financing with 5 years of no interest. 5 years, no interest. Discover great deals in-store and online only at Ashley. And while we're here, I have to tell you about our amazing friends at Crooked T. That's right, they're bringing you all of the action this opening Flyers week here on PHLY Flyers. And you know all about it. You remember when BG strip sacked the GOAT for the first Philly Super Bowl ever. And now BG is bringing us his Crooked T strip sack pack so we can all savor the flavor a little bit longer. What is the strip sack pack? Well, it's big, it's heavy, and it's juicy. It's the kind of pack you want to show off. You already know Crooked T is 0 sugar and all flavor, and the strip sack pack is stuffed with 24 cans, plus some collectible trading cards by our friend Jordan Spector, so every pack is packing heat from the fridge to the tailgate. This is the one sack you're going to be proud to display. So grab yours today at a store near you or get them on GoPuff. And for our buddy BG, we got to tell you about the places already carrying Crooked T: Sports and Social Allentown, Garage Fishtown, City Tap in Logan Square, Wicked Wolf on Chestnut. Go check them out for game day or a night out and tell them your friends at PHLY Sports sent you. Dan Vladar. Doesn't come through on our over 25.5 saves tonight.
So close, Bill.
Only 24.
So close.
Only 24 of 26 for Vladar, but that is good enough for a 923 save percentage. The goaltending is considerably better this year, and I do think there is something to letting the goalies see the shots.
Let them cook, Bill.
Let them. We talked about this. Maybe it was after the opener. Maybe it was in one of the shows last week. But while, yeah, the goalies have just been bad. And again, if you don't have confidence, you're going to try to block every shot. Makes sense. But if they can feel the puck early, kind of get into the game, and they know what their save percentage is. They know when they've allowed 2 goals on 10 shots and things are going poorly. They just don't have the same confidence they would if maybe they've stopped 14 of 15 and suddenly, okay, my stats look good. I'm feeling good. There might just be something to this mentally more than, hey, we're playing a little bit better defensively. It might be a mental thing as much for the goalies to feel the shots and know their stats aren't going to be killed when they eventually do allow a goal.
Oh, for sure. And there's just something about the way Vladar has been playing so far that's just a little bit more comforting as a fan to watch his just kind of steady motion in net and not just whatever Ivan Fedotov was doing out there, where he's just, I always called it breakdancing, right?
Yes.
Where he's just kind of like flailing about, being crazy. And Vladar's a big guy. I think the broadcast was talking at one point about how he's knocked over the goal a few times off the moorings because he's just a big dude.
In the second period, I was right behind the net, and it seemed like he knocked it off like 3 times.
Yeah.
And the dude next to me is like, is it every time he moves? I was like, I honestly joked. I was like, maybe they forgot to put him in after Mike's on ice. Like, maybe that was the problem. But there is something. It looks like he knows what he's doing, which I realize for an NHL goalie shouldn't be the bar. But
I mean, that's like the entire last year is like, does Kolosov know what he's doing? Does Fedotov know what he's doing? Like, you were legitimately wondering if they knew how to play the position that they were getting paid to play. Like, it was a big problem. Vladar is 6'5".
6'5". It's not as if he's like a 6-foot athletic goalie who's flopping all around. And maybe this, maybe they could have done a more of a service to Ivan Fedotov, asking him the way Rick Tocchet is asking the goalies, take away half the net. We are going to defend over here. You see the puck and take away the holes that are facing you, and we will be on the back door, and there won't be all these cross-ice plays because we're just worried about blocking shots. Maybe they could have done more of a service to Ivan Fedotov with such a defense, but thus far, for Vladar, who's had an career, he's had he's had some highs. He also loses his starting job to a rookie last year.
That was a criticized signing, to be honest.
It was. People wondered what the hell they were doing.
They were like, I thought they were trying to upgrade at this position, and they signed the most meh, like, kind of goaltender out there. I'll tell you what, through 2 games, 202 GAA, 933 save percentage. I know it's only 2 games, but I don't know if any of the Flyers goaltenders had a 900 save percentage at any point.
In back-to-back games last year, I would be shocked. I actually, you know what, for tomorrow, I want to look through the entire game log for goalies and see how many guys in consecutive starts logged a, not even 920 plus, a 900 plus, because I bet it didn't happen all that often. No. But it is encouraging to see.
And not only 900, but against the Florida Panthers,
twice.
The back-to-back champs. And again, I am very aware that Barkov and Tkachuk are not in there. They still have Bennett. They still have Reinhardt. They have guys who can friggin' play, man. They have Marchand, who's one of the like best players of the past 15 years.
Vladar had what was maybe underrated at the time, but there's a Reinhardt in the slot chance in the second period that just kick save right to the corner, no problem. It was under control. Rebound isn't a huge issue. It looked like NHL goaltending. I don't expect him to win the Vezina this year with a 920 plus. Maybe this is the year we have the odd, Cam Talbot's the runner up for Vezina sort of. How the hell did that happen? It happens in goaltending every year. You're like, man, this guy who stinks had a great season.
I said this about
maybe
Ersson.
It could.
I said this about Ersson on Saturday. Is like what he did is I know Ersson, his numbers weren't the most impressive on Saturday, but it was a really good performance from him because he just made some huge saves when they needed him to. But the biggest thing was he gave the Flyers a chance to win in that game.
Yes.
Which was something that he did not do nearly entirely enough the past 2 seasons.
And it feels like they may have complementary goaltending because the thing I've said about Ersson all along, 2 to 3 times a week, bad. Once or twice a week, you can get by. He's pretty good. He's athletic. He makes big saves. He's been clutch at times. He's really good in shootouts. If we just limit his workload the way it was when he came up and it was like, oh man, this guy might be something, I feel as if this could be a complementary tandem, and I like that it's competition. I want to go right back to Ayers. I want to see these two duke it out until there is yeah, man, this guy has to be the starter.
It's funny because we were all kind of scratching our heads when Tocchet announced Vladar in game 1, which I think we understood why he did that because I thought Vladar looked way better in preseason. But his comment was something along the lines of, well, you have to pick a goalie to start. And
it sounded like he flipped a coin. It sounded like he flipped a coin. Charlie and I debated a lot, like, because it sounded all off season as if they were still operating under the assumption Sam Ersson's our guy. But we got someone who can like start a couple games in a row if we need to. A guy who we can not lose simply because he started. And we thought, oh yeah, Vladar could start opening night. He could become the number 1 early if he blows the doors off in preseason. It's not like he had any 30 save shutouts. Yeah. He just looked competent. And
just at the bar for the Flyers right now.
But it looked confident. And I didn't think that would be enough to get, the 2 starts against Florida, start the season opener and the home opener. Apparently it was. And Tocchet, it's paid off. The choice has paid off for Rick Tocchet early in the season to ride Vladar.
Yeah. And the one save I wanted to really highlight for him was early in the game. I think it was was it a shorthanded chance? I have it right here. Yeah. So it was a shorthanded chance for the Panthers, 2-on-1. And he just shut that down like a pro. Didn't break a sweat. Real nice and easy. He made what was, I think, a hard save look pretty easy. And he's using his size in a way that Fedotov never did. And I know I'm really trashing Fedotov here, and it's easy to speak, ill of the guys who are now stuck in Columbus's minor league system. But he was just so rough to watch last year. Everybody was rough to watch last year.
They didn't have a chance.
Yes. And seeing guys just give them a chance to win is making the start to the season a lot better. And I think just Tocchet's whole approach right now is pretty interesting. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's carried over from last season, namely the Cates Foerster-Brink line has stayed together, and another fantastic game for them tonight, Bill.
Brink gets the empty netter. Cates has an assist. Forster ends up with the first goal of the game.
Only shot.
His only shot. Somehow we end up one shot shy of all of our bets on both the goalie and the shooting prop. But on a night the Flyers win, I'm not going to complain too much about it.
No.
That line, is it like actually elite? Like, what is it's crazy because I don't think any of us think of Noah Cates as like, oh, what is he going to be, Selke Couturier? We were saying during the third period, just watching the game, what is this going to be, like a legit playoff shutdown line? Is this going to be the best two-way line they have? How good actually is Cates? How good actually is Brink? I think we all see a pretty high ceiling for Forster, and thus far, it appears that's the case. They have to keep this group together, right?
They have to for now. Like, I don't see how you can break them up because they're on the same page. These are guys on the same level. They kind of have a telepathy between them. They speak a language that makes sense because they came in a new system and didn't miss a beat. Forster basically missed all of camp and most of the preseason. And he hasn't missed a beat playing with these guys. And that's big for Foerster because I know last year he really had a rough time at the beginning of the season. There was a long stretch where he did absolutely nothing. And Cates also had a big stretch where I remember last year at this time, we were talking like, is Noah Cates even a guy like worth having on this team? And now we're saying, is Noah Cates the best center on this team? Because
Noah Cates was missing time early in last season. He was the scratch when Jet Luchenko was in the lineup. You had a barely 18-year-old rookie who was taken not with the first overall pick.
No.
He was taken, 12th, 13th? I think it was 13th they traded down to get Luchenko.
There, yeah.
And it's not as if he's like a special talent. We think he ultimately might have some good upside. We saw some of the playmaking skills tonight, but it was, yeah, man, Cates, maybe he's a good fourth liner. He's missing time because this kid needs to play a little bit during his tryout. And really, ever since, he has been one of their most consistent players. And maybe we can start to see this offense out of him more consistently. And if that's the case, suddenly the center position isn't as big of a hole. You still need the guy. You still absolutely need the guy at center, or at least someone who can keep up with like whatever Michkov's going to be, whatever Martone's going to be. We'll talk about Mish in a second.
And whatever Zegras is?
Yeah, whatever Zegras is.
Zegras is a big question. And it's funny because like his best play came with Sean Couturier, who I think most people would argue is the team's best center today.
Sure.
And it came with Zegras, I don't want to be a wing, giving a pass to Sean Couturier for a one-timer.
All right, let's talk before this next break. I want to talk about Matvei Michkov.
Hey, we have to.
He played 5:46 in the first. He played 7:17 in the second. A lot of it on the power play, 4.5 minutes of those 7 on the power play, but that's a decent amount of time.
Yeah.
He gets 4 shifts and 1:53 in the third period. I can't say to this point Tocchet's wrong. I don't like it. I want to see Matvei Michkov out there. I want to see him play 22 minutes. I want to see him be the guy no matter what. But has he impressed you to this point? Has he looked like Michkov at all yet?
No, I mean, I thought he looked more like Michkov in preseason.
Yeah.
He scored that goal and he was doing the fist pump. I thought we are on to an amazing second season for this guy. And he has not looked like himself at all to start this season. I know there were some rumors flying around on some podcasts about him today. That
we talked about it in pregame. Yeah,
about him being like out of shape and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's that. I think the coaches came out and said that it was an ankle issue.
There was an ankle thing. I wondered, like, do you think that could be residual? That's the word, residual from the the car accident, like. I don't know. I'm looking for a reason because in preseason, they were playing him a ton and he looked like himself. And thus far, he has not looked like the Matvei Michkov we saw for 2/3 of last season.
And it's a bad start with the new coach because you really want to see. We were just talking about how Sean Couturier had such a bad time with John Tortorella and how it's nice to see him. I don't know if he necessarily had this look in the first couple games, but tonight, he was outstanding. I think he was easily one of the Flyers' best players. I mean, obviously he was because he had 2 goals, almost had 3. Fantastic night for Sean Couturier, and clearly he's having a little bit of a better time under Tocchet. And I don't know if it's the Tocchet of it all. I don't know if it's Michkov. I'm not sure what it is, but he looks a little bit lost, and he does not have the favor of Tocchet. But we need these guys on the same page because we're trying to enjoy this team being competitive against tough competition in these first games. And this controversy that's coming out because your best, most talented, your franchise player is not looking like himself and does not seem to be on the same page with your new coach.
What I'll say is last year it was all about Mish. They needed him. We needed him. This year it's about the team. It's about everybody taking a step.
It's a crest on the front, Bill.
It's not just, listen, I wanted to see him win Rookie of the Year last year. I really wanted to see what sort of offense he could provide for this team, given every single opportunity. But now, if it is about turning a page, being better, being more competitive, he has to up his game too.
Oh, for sure. I want to see him up his game. I really want to see him play with Zegras at some point, but you have to figure out the defensive responsibilities that happen. I wish you could just put Zegras on the left wing, Coots in the middle, Michkov on the right. Then you got some stew going.
If you could, you got a stew going.
You got a stew.
If you could justify breaking up the Cates line, I would love to see Zegras, Michkov, Foerster.
Oh,
But
yeah.
right now, I can't do it. Like, it's
No.
not about creating for them, and especially Mish. It's about being the best team. And right now, the best team is with that Cates line intact.
You're trying to win games. Bobby Brink, 2 shots tonight. Cates, 1 shot. Foerster, 1 shot and had a goal. And they just were playing, they were buzzing in the offensive zone again. They're playing great defensive hockey too. They're doing everything you need them to do. There's no, it would be irresponsible. It would be a crime to break up this line at this point. There is just no way you can do it.
All right, Charlie, about to join us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. But first, I got to tell you about Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Came up a little short tonight. Tyson Foerster not able to convert 2 shots on goal. Had him over a shot and a half. Did score, but unfortunately we didn't take the anytime goal. Dan Vladar made plenty of saves, but we had him over 25 and a half, only makes 24. It's a rough night, but whatever your action is, you need to place it at Bet365. And right now we have breaking news from our friends at Bet365. New customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you gotta do, sign up, use the code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets, whether your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Well, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in PA. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now it's time to tell you about one of our favorite sponsors here, our friends at Xfinity. That's right, we're coming to you live from the Xfinity studio. Chuck is going to be joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. And hey, the Flyers won their first game at the Xfinity Mobile Arena tonight, but I am just a big fan of the Xfinity product because if you're a sports fan, you have to have Xfinity. It's the ultimate sports destination. You can find all the best games and all your favorite teams all in one place, and the way you watch, absolutely next level. Enhanced 4K gives you the best possible picture and sound. It's so clear, it feels like you're live in the arena. And you can get up to 4 games going at once, because if you want the multi-view, you want to use the multi-view. And on top of that, you get real-time notifications and live stats right on the television. It's the best seat in the house every single time. So next game day, make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. And that brings us Charlie O'Connor on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. How you doing tonight, Chuck? Big first win for Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, honestly, it was just a great hockey game. And to me, the big story, and I'm sure you guys have talked about it, is Sean Couturier. This is a guy who, and it was really nice to go in the room and talk to not just Couturier, who of course was thrilled about how he played and how he was able to help the team win, but just the other guys. You had Travis Sanheim talking about how nice it is for him to see, Couturier kind of come out on the other side of this after the back surgeries, the ordeal with John Tortorella, and to have a game like this. Then you even had Trevor Zegras talking about how much Couturier has helped him. Even in this short time he's been with the team in terms of face-offs and learning from him from a two-way standpoint. Like, this is just a good dude. And I don't know if this is just going to be a one-off, but let's be honest here. There were a lot of doubters about Sean Couturier. There have been a lot of doubters about Sean Couturier really ever since he's come back from the back surgery. And it just, in my mind, as someone who's covered Couturier for almost a decade, over a decade now at this point, I guess, almost a decade full time, over a decade if you're counting my time as a blogger. It's just nice to see him show that he's still got it. Now, there's other important things that happened in this game. That pass on Trevor Zegras, we'll get to it. But to me, the big story of this game is Sean Couturier. And I don't know, it's nice to be talking about positive things about Sean Couturier.
What a difference a year makes. Remember, we've talked about that home opener a year ago. He's the 4th line left wing tonight. 4 points for 1C Couturier. It is pretty cool that he has been able to bounce back to this level.
Absolutely. And, this was a game where it's funny. I asked him about the first goal because when he scored that, when the pass goes out to him, I'm thinking it's Matvei Michkov there, because that's kind of Michkov's spot, hanging out, cherry picking a little bit for a stretch pass in the neutral zone. And I look up and it's Sean Couturier. He's the guy who's getting the breakaway. And I asked him after the game what had happened, and he said, yeah, he was a little late getting on the ice. He said for his shift that Konechny was yelling at him, and he gets on the ice, and then suddenly the pass is right on his tape, and he's got a breakaway. So he said, look, sometimes the hockey gods are smiling on you, and he laughed about it. But as I said, if there's anybody who deserved the hockey gods to smile on him, it's Sean Couturier, both in terms of all the injuries he's dealt with and also the coach that he dealt with over the last couple of years.
Absolutely.
I know we want Trevor Zegras at center, but like, I don't know. Can we get these two guys together a little bit more? Because that's some great chemistry on that goal there.
Yeah, that pass was bonkers, and I made the point. I made this point in my question to Tocchet, but I was thinking about it a lot. I mentioned it to a few media people on our way down that, look, that's a very skilled play. That is a ridiculous pass, backhand pass, all the way across the slot to the opposite side of the offense zone. That's a fantastic play. But it's also a hard play. Like, we're not talking about, because Trevor Zegras has that reputation of like, yeah, he's skilled, but is he a hockey player? Is he tough? Is he all finesse? Is he only good when he's stick handling through cones? Is he one of those, soft U.S. national team development program guys? That was not a soft play. It was a skill play. But it wasn't a soft play. He's got two guys on him. He's fighting through a check. He's fighting through two checks, really. Gets hit pretty darn hard after he makes the play. I think he noted that one of the other writers asked him, as he was walking off, kind of like, how'd you get through those two guys? He's like, I don't know. My neck's feeling it right now. So, like, he took some punishment to make that play. But you know what? That's what you have to do to not just be a good player at the NHL level with his skills, but a great player. And look, he hasn't been perfect through these 3 games. He's had some bad shifts. He's been invisible at times. But on that play, you saw, number one, how good he can be. And number two, this is how important it is to have guys with high-end talent. Because, look, this was a game where the Flyers' first 2 periods, they're playing really well. They're controlling play. They're doing what they need to do against Florida. They make a mistake on that power play, give up a shorthanded goal at the end of the second, and then into the third, it's all Florida. And you're thinking it's over. Florida ties it. Florida's rolling. And you can talk about like a big hit changing momentum, but you know what else can change momentum? A ridiculously skilled play. And that's what happened there. A guy that can create offense out of nowhere, that's what they haven't had. That's what they haven't had for the last 3-4 years. They got it in Michkov last year, but obviously he's still developing. But the more guys you have that can do that, the more chances that one guy can just like pull a McKinnon or McCarr and just be like, well, yeah, we haven't been doing anything for 10 minutes, but like we're scoring right now. And Zegras has that ability.
I think it is important, as you noted. It's not as if Zegras has been perfect. It's not as if he hasn't had frustrating plays here and there, but this was never a day one, here we go, he's Trevor Zegras that he's supposed to be. It is a learning process, and I think just making that play physically tonight, like fighting through the checks, and it's not as if it was 2 small meat guys bearing down on him. Like, it's the freaking Florida Panthers. It's Aaron Ekblad, and he does it. I want to talk about another bright spot, though, Charlie. Down at the other end of the ice, between the pipes, Dan Vladar. My assessment of his goaltending through 2 games is he looks like he knows what he's doing. He is an NHL goaltender, but he has been very good. He's made some big saves. Tonight, the shorty they give up is like just a mad scramble. It's basically the tush push in the crease. It's a bunch of nonsense going on. They give up the power play goal as well, but he stops 24 of 26, well over 920 in his first 2 starts. Gets his first win tonight. What'd you think of Dan Vladar?
I thought he was really impressive. I thought one of the it's a storyline because there's just so much to talk about in this game that's going to be forgotten. But he made 2 really good saves at the start of this game. And when you're playing against a team like Florida, where they come in with a reputation of winning the last 2 cups, of being one of the premier teams in the league, if Vladar gives up 2 goals early, this game might end 5-2 the other way, where Florida just rolls, because then you're a team like the Flyers, you're not on Florida's level from a talent standpoint, and certainly not from being accomplished as a team standpoint. You're down 2-0 early. It's like, maybe this just ain't our night. The crowd gets out of the game because the crowd was rocking pretty much the entire game, but especially in the beginning, Vladar makes those 2 big stops. And those are important saves, not just because they're tough saves, and obviously you want your goalie to make saves. They're big stops because of what they did for the game. They allowed the Flyers to not, because they were playing well from the jump, but you're going to give up some chances. If your goalie can't make those saves, suddenly strong play turns into sloppy play because you panic. And by making those saves, he allowed the Flyers to keep doing what they were doing well in the first period, then eventually get rewarded and then carry that over even in the second. So I thought those two saves, they stick in my brain as really important saves, not just for Vladar, but for the Flyers. But yeah, he's looked really good. Look, I'm sure he'd like to have the one power play goal back just because he pulls himself out of position, gets pulled off his post, falls down, and then leaves, I think it was Reinhardt with a wide open net on the other side. I'm sure he'd like to have that one back. But when that's your only mistake of the game, you know what? We'll take it, because otherwise he was really, really good. And that's pretty much been the story of his first two games. Maybe one goal in each game he'd like to have back, but the rest of the game completely solid. And hey, you know what? If he's going to have over a 920 save percentage through two games, nobody's going to be complaining.
Before Steve's next question, I just have to point out we have like 700 people watching live right now.
Hell yeah.
Only 177 likes. Those numbers that doesn't make any sense to me. You like what you're watching. You're clearly tuned in. Hit the freaking like button. There's no reason we don't have 500 likes right now. It's simple. It's simple math.
It's simple economics, Bill. I can't say the word economics.
Yeah, economics. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, whatever. Emil Andre drew back into the lineup tonight. Only got 10-22. What did you think of Andre's game tonight, Charlie?
I liked it a lot. And you're right. He didn't get a ton of ice time. I thought they were trying, though, to get him out there for some extra shifts. He was getting some shifts with Drysdale, which was nice to see. And I thought those shifts generally were pretty impressive. I really liked what I saw from Andre. Tocchet was asked after the game what he thought of Andre's play, and he was pretty complimentary. At the very least, I think he's earned another game, regardless of whether York is ready to go for Thursday or not, because they just haven't been getting much of anything from these guys at the bottom of the line. Like, it seems like Yinning is safe because he's in the top four. He got a fair amount of minutes tonight again, largely paired with Drysdale. But if you're looking at guys like Juleson and Zamula, like Juleson, at least it's kind of like death by a thousand cuts. Like, he's not doing many things that are glaringly bad, but he's just not really having much of an impact. Zamula's actively made mistakes. I mean, that play on Saturday where he completely takes himself out of the play, starfishing. He doesn't block a pass or a shot and just has everyone running around like chickens with their heads cut off in coverage as a result. Like, you know what? I don't care that Zamula is 6'3", 6'4", and Andre's 5'9". Andre could do that. Could make that mistake just as easily. So, like, what are we doing here? Why wouldn't Andre be in the lineup over someone like that if that's the way that Zamula is playing? And I think Zamula is better than that. I think he can play better than he's been playing in preseason to start the year. But right now, he's not playing well, and that's abundantly clear if you're watching. Andre tonight in limited minutes made an impact. He was making plays with the puck. He was carrying the puck. He wasn't out of shape in the corners. He wasn't, struggling to win battles. He was making an impact on a shift by shift basis, and that's something we haven't seen, I would argue, from any of the three guys at the bottom of the regular depth chart. If we're talking Yinning, Juleson, and Zamula, but certainly Zamula and Juleson. And hey, even if Andre's only getting limited minutes, you still got to play those third pair guys something. You got to give them some minutes. And in Andre, they have somebody who seems like has the ability to make a positive impact. To me, you got to keep him in, even if they don't want to have three small defensemen in the lineup. I don't think you have a choice.
Speaking of limited minutes, Matvei Michkov, under 2 minutes in the third period tonight. He just hasn't looked like Matvei Michkov yet this season. Did have the chance on the one-timer on the power play. I believe in the second period was his only shot of the game. What are you seeing from the Mad Russian, Charlie? You think it's just, okay, the conditioning is the issue, he doesn't have chemistry with the line mates? What is going on with Matvei Michkov thus far?
I mean, I think it's probably a lot of things. I think he might just be off to a bit of a slow start. That said, it does seem like the conditioning, that thing is real. Obviously, it came out on Spit and Chicklets. Yeah, two of the guys made that point. We asked Tocchet about it this morning, and he basically said, "Look, he was dealing with an ankle injury in the summer. Maybe didn't allow him to train as hard as he wanted to, and maybe he's dealing with the effects of that right now." They said, like, look, we'll correct it, but it's kind of hard to correct that at the start of the season, especially once the season gets going, because schedules are busy. Like, how much gains can you make when you're playing every other night? It's a concern. Not that I'm terribly concerned over the long term, but I was hoping that he was going to come out and take advantage of a big summer. And if he wasn't able to have a big summer because he was banged up, that's a concern. And look, he's going to score points. He's too talented not to. But we may not see the leap that we were hoping to see if he wasn't able to make big gains this summer from a conditioning standpoint.
All right, Chuck, we have a ton of super chats. We have a ton of other stuff to get to. Still an ad break, so get ready to talk about goalie interference and Jet Luchenko and all sorts of stuff tomorrow at 4 o'clock right here on PHLY's YouTube. But now it's time for the Ashley Furniture 3 stars of the game. Charlie, who was star number 3?
Yeah, star number 3, I'm going with Dan Vladar. Apparently he got, I don't know if you guys saw, but their new player of the game thing in the locker room is a Bernie Parent mask, which is pretty cool.
That's badass.
That's pretty cool. But Vladar got the Bernie Parent mask apparently. And well-deserved. Look, Sean Couturier, I believe, was the one who gave it out because he's the captain, so he can't give it to himself, and he wouldn't because that's not the kind of person he is. But Vladar, as I said, extremely important, especially in the beginning of the game when the Flyers were looking good by the eye test and by the numbers, but didn't have a lead, makes a couple big saves, gives the Flyers the opportunity to get that early lead and play with a lead. Vladar was extremely solid in this game. For a little while, it looked like he might be on pace for a shutout. Then Florida remembers, hey, we're Florida. We're a really, really good team. We're not going to get shut out by the Flyers. But Vladar played very well. Easy 3rd star choice for me.
Side mission, because you mentioned Bernie. This is just what happens on post game. Do you know if the patches or the ice paint are going to last all year, or was this just an opener thing? If you don't know, that's fine. I just threw it at you.
No, this is definitely an all year thing.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
the patches all year. The ice thing, like, hey, the ice is the ice is over top of where they put the paint. So I don't think even if they wanted to take that off, they could at this point. It's an all year thing.
All right, who is star number 2?
Star number 2, pretty much entirely on the strength of one play. It is Trevor Zegras.
TZ.
Holy crap, that pass.
Oh.
That was a bonkers pass. I still cannot believe he made that play. And again, as I said, this is why having high-end talent is important. You can talk about, the fights change momentum. You can talk about big hits changing momentum, but creating goals out of thin air changes momentum more than anything else. And that's what Trevor Zegras did. That was a situation where he's got 2 guys on him. You not in a million years are thinking that's going to lead to a goal. And he just like snaps his fingers and boom, gives the puck, gets the puck somehow on his backhand to Sean Couturier to be able to finish that. That's why you get guys like Trevor Zegras. That's why you shouldn't trade guys like Trevor Zegras the way Anaheim did, because they have the ability to do that. And the Flyers, I don't think, win this game. Florida was still rolling. They had just tied the game. Flyers don't win this game if Trevor Zegras is not on this team. And I think that is you can't argue that. That's just the reality.
And for Zegras, his stated goal of people saying he's not just good at hockey, he's a hockey player. That's the type of play we're talking about right there. Looking forward to more. Finally, I wonder who it's going to be. Star number 1.
Yeah, it's the captain. It's Sean Couturier. And finishes with 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. And it wasn't even like they piled the ice time on him.
No.
He got some minutes, but we're not talking about a 20, 22, 23 minute game. I think he finished with like 16 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
Something in that.
1640, I think.
Yeah, 1640. So he was just efficient. He just made an impact. I loved him battling with Luke Cunnin right after he scores the first goal, and he's chopping at him in the faceoff dot at center ice. Like this is a Sean Couturier who, it just seems like he's got his swagger back. And there were some people grumbling about him after the first few games because for some people, it's like their favorite thing to do is to complain about Sean Couturier. Tonight was a shut the hell up game to those people. And I absolutely love to see it. Sean Couturier, easy first start.
All right, that was Charlie O'Connor, Philly's number 1 hockey beat writer, joining us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line from the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Charlie, the curse is lifted. 1-0 at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. We will talk again tomorrow at 4 p.m. right here on PHLY Flyers. But thank you for your time tonight. And now I've got to throw it to our next break. When the weather turns chilly, the last thing you need is another home project piling up. Ace Hardware Home Services, that's where you gotta turn, because Ace Hardware Home Services brings local pros right to your door to help you get your home ready for the colder months. From heating tune-ups and plumbing fixes to from heating tune-ups and plumbing fixes to generators and emergency repairs, their experts handle it all. No guesswork, no stress, just a local pro to get the job done right, and your satisfaction is always guaranteed. Find the help you need for your next home project at acehardwarehomeservices.com. Now it's time to tell you about Philly sports trips, baby. That's right, because we're going to Anaheim. We are going, speaking of Trevor Zegras, come on, his homecoming game, March 17th to the 22nd. We are going out to California. We're going to see Flyers Ducks in Anaheim. We're going to see Flyers Kings in LA. We're going to have a watch party for the Sharks game as well. And not only am I going, not only is Charlie going, not only is Kelly going, not only is Brenna going, John LeClaire is going. So you're going to want to get in on this trip. Go to allphly.com, click that events tab, and get your deposit down now. After that, 3 simple payments. Get on the payment plan, not a huge investment all at once, and you get to go on the trip of a lifetime. Philly Sports Trips put on our draft party. It was the best draft party we've ever had. They sent us to Montreal at the end of last season. It's one of the best events I've ever been to. This is going to blow it all out of the water. Get in on the Anaheim trip. Allphly.com. Click the events tab. Philly Sports Trips. You are not going to want to miss this.
Hey, Bill.
Hey,
While
Steve.
we were doing all that, Charlie mentioned the Bernie mask. I found the link to that on Twitter, and I sent it over to Brenna.
Oh,
so
that's beautiful.
We can put that up. There it is up on the screen.
That is so freaking cool. I'm so happy they're doing this.
That's the best locker room celebration thing I've seen in a minute.
You know, they've done some cool stuff in the past. They've done some stuff that kind of captures the personality of the current team, some of the younger guys, the leadership group. This is paying homage to, at worst, the second best Flyer of all time.
At worst.
You know, like, yeah. That's it's him and Clarkie. Like, and Bernie, I would say, like I said this in pregame, he just he embodies not only what it was to be a Flyer, but a Flyer alum. Was so proud to be a Flyer. You saw him at the draft party with the rings. He just walked like this with the rings out so everyone would see that. Like, the rings led the way, not Bernie, because Bernie's a celebrity on his own. He walks in, if he was wearing a mask, people would be like, that's freaking Bernie Perron.
Bernie Perron,
but on. Like, he was just so proud to be a Flyer, and I'm glad they're going to be paying tribute all season like this. We have like 12 or 15 super chats or something to get to, which means we got to start them. But first, got to tell you about Supporters Club. You got to join the Supporters Club right now is the time to get in on this. We have awesome emojis, exclusive emojis for when you join. You get a badge next to your name. It's a way to support us directly. Think of it like Die Hard for YouTube. And that's just the $5 a month level. You get all that fun stuff. And you get to show off that you're one of our diehards. But for $15 a month, you also get exclusive content from all of our beats. There's going to be behind-the-scenes footage, different breakdowns. We have something from Petey for people this week that you're all absolutely going to love. Join Supporters Club right here. It is for our diehards right on the YouTube page. Make sure you get to it. All right, Brenna, I know I just threw like everything at you all at once.
Woo,
like let's just knock
chats.
everything out. But now it is time to get to the super chats on tonight's the very first in-studio postgame of the year. The first 2 were remotes, and here we are finally. Let's get to those super chats.
Oh yeah.
All right, first one leading it off is our pal Timbo Slice. He says, gotta love how goaltender interference is whatever a skater is in the crease, except when it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's if you touch the goalie, even if the goalie touches you and you're in the crease, apparently it's a penalty. I don't know what the hell happened on the shorthanded goal because it was kind of right in front of me and I couldn't see if there was any actual interference. It just kind of looked like everyone all around.
I think I was getting out of my Uber.
Yeah, but it was the goalie interference thing is just always going to be frustrating. And when it happens to your team, you're going to be mad. And the NHL is kind of taking... You know, in the NFL, when there's a play and it's like, well, what the hell was he supposed to do? The answer is always from the NFL, we don't care.
We don't care.
That's what the NHL is going to say about goalie interference. Don't touch the goalie. Don't be in the paint.
Why didn't Garnett Hathaway simply levitate himself off of the ice before he hit the goalie?
It's a great question, Steve.
Yeah.
Why doesn't he have superpowers? Can't he get bit by a spider or something? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Come on, Garnett. All right. Next one from Gritseat Ross. Great to hear from you. Flyers had 2 opponents tonight, 1 in stripes.
Oh, there we go.
I wouldn't say it was that uneven. I would say some of the calls were like, really? What? Who we calling here?
Yeah.
Both ways. The stuff they let go and the stuff they called, I was like, this seems backwards.
Yeah.
Like some of the one trip, I think, Tippett, where they scored the game tying goal. It's like, I don't know. Is that a trip if it's not Brad Marchand, who's awesome at making it look like he got tripped? But hey, that's a skill apparently.
Yeah, I mean, he's made his entire career off that.
I just felt like some of the stuff they let go both ways versus what they called was very annoying. All right. Next one here from Rise Above Bulldogs. Bulldoges, maybe? Emil was not bad tonight. Zamula must go. I think ultimately Zamula's level is 6th or 7th defenseman who may or may not play.
Right.
Andre might ultimately be a 3rd pair guy who can give you some offense. Maybe he's on power play too, but it's just like upside here. Let's find that out.
I would love to just find it out. Mostly because I'm kind of tired of the conversation about it. Like, I like Andre, but we're talking about Andre sometimes like he could be a potential like superstar stud.
He's nice. He could be nice.
He's nice. He could be maybe even a 2nd pair guy. Sure. But I sometimes think we get a little hyperbolic talking about Andre. But that said, I would just like to figure out what we have one way or the other.
Yeah. And my issue with the defensive decision making and the way they've done this is like, I know that they don't want, especially when York comes back, York, Drysdale, Andre, all undersized guys who don't play physical, guys who don't play big. They don't want that in the long run. But right now, let's just ice the 6 best hockey players who happen to be defensemen and see how it goes. And there's not a question in anyone's mind who are the 6 best defensemen. Well, with or without York in the lineup, Andre is one of them. If this is ultimately a combination that can't work because in the playoffs they're too small, let's deal with that. Like, we got the Hockey 500 tonight, and we're like, yeah, let's deal with the playoffs when they're in the effing playoffs.
We're not even like, we haven't sniffed the playoffs in years. Playoffs.
They haven't been in a playoff with fans in the stands since 2018.
Yeah.
Like, that's almost 10 years.
It sounds like fiction, Bill.
One thing at a time. One thing at a time. Let's just get the best players.
What the heck we have.
And yeah, that's even if you don't want Andre and he's the guy you ultimately move on from, let him show how good he is, and then maybe you can get one of those other things that you need or you want by trading him.
A trade?
Like, let's raise his value and not lower it by saying, well, he's an AHLer because he's too small.
Oh, John Tortorella.
How does that help us? How does that help us?
John Tortorella was great at lowering values.
I really think the worst thing that ever happened to Emil Andre was Charlie being like, he's a top 4 defenseman. Because the minute that like Tortorella and Shaw are giving him 20 minutes a night. This is under their control. And then Charlie says it, and then it's, no, he's not. Why are you playing him like one night?
PHLY's Charlie O'Connor said, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not letting this happen. Not on my watch.
It was ridiculous. All right, next one here from Timbo Slice, and he is taking up the why not us mantle. Hell, man, if they get this kind of goaltending and Michkov comes around, they could be a playoff team. Why not? We're 3 games in. Let's dream big.
Hey, we got that Foerster-Cates-Brink line. They can do anything.
They're good enough to beat the Florida Panthers.
If Zegras can work some magic like he did tonight on that game-winning goal, then I might. You maybe buy me. I could buy in a little bit.
All right. Next one here from Adam S. Always great to hear from Adam. I'm tired of Flyers Twitter crying about Michkov. People want the guy who the whole rebuild is built around to play well. They also want him to get ice time. But these 2 things are correlated. Yeah. Like, he has to be better. Maybe it is just a slow start because that happens. Guys get off to slow starts.
We're talking about game 3, Bill.
It's 3 games. Like,
that's what's driving me a little nuts right now is there's a lot of talk right now. Like, we're on game like 70. We're on game 3.
If he has 2 on Thursday, he's on a great pace.
Yeah.
Like, all he needs is a couple of points, and he's really good at multi-point games. He's really good at 2-goal games. If that all happens, we're right back where we want to be.
I too understand, like, being tired of the crying aspect of it, because I do want people to just take a deep breath because it's been 3 games.
Yeah.
But I do also understand we want Michkov to play well.
And with that, we're going to hit overtime. If you are watching as part of the TV audience, make sure you go to all PHLY for the rest of the show. All right. Next one from David Shub. David, always a regular here. Guys, I was here in person. Greb's puck protection is unreal. Me and Adam S. went down to the Panthers tunnel and made fun of them like schoolyard bullies on their way out. Let's go, Flyers. F the Panthers. Love to hear it. That's what, Charlie mentioned the crowd tonight. I don't get to many games because, like,
We're doing this?
Yeah. I do this quite often. It did feel different, though. Like, people were, listen, it's the opener. They're up against the Cup champs. They started well. So, like, yeah, people are going to be in a mood, but let's bring it back. Xfinity Mobile Arena, the place to be. Real home ice advantage again.
Oh, way to work that in there. Really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, like, there are a lot of things looking up, and I know other, I guess, beat writers and other fans around the NHL maybe don't see what we see, but coming off of that Michkov season, having expectations for Zegras, and just knowing what kind of guys Couturier and Konechny can be when they're playing their best, and also seeing this Foerster-Cates-Brink line that I keep mentioning because they're so darn good, is just like,
It's worth mentioning.
These are things that actually have the fan base excited, and we want to be excited. We will take any excuse to be hype about this team.
100%. Did you know David and Adam, brothers?
Oh, wow.
Both regular super chatters. I believe they're twins.
Oh, okay.
All right. I didn't know if you were ever on a show where that got revealed.
I was not aware of that.
From Slapshot 68. Is it just me, or has Toc been big dogging Mish with ice time just as much, if not more than Torts? Third line minutes, no OT last game. Is he really upset from the dump and chase comments from the summer? No, I think other guys are playing better. The no OT thing is crazy just because he's so good.
That's nuts to me because he also is just the most offensively creative guy on the team. But
He doesn't trust him yet, and that's pretty clear.
I don't think the dump and chase thing is a big factor, but the ice time stuff is driving me a little batty. I think he keeps saying it's about him just not moving his feet enough. That's what we were talking about on Saturday a lot, Petey and I, is guys moving their feet. And Bobby Brink on Saturday was moving his feet a ton. And Michkov maybe not so much. And that's the stuff that Toc is looking at.
The similar names has thrown me off like 10 times.
It's a horrible, horrible trend.
It's a stupid little thing that I've seen, but Mish, 3 penalties, first 3 games, 2 of them stick penalties. That means you're not moving your feet.
Yeah.
Listen, I think he's going to be a star. It could be as soon as next game he has a hat trick and we're all happy. I'm done with this. We have to protect Michkov. He's no, you're supposed to be the star of the team, man. Be the star of the team. Yeah. I think it's going to happen. It's just going to take more than 3 games, apparently.
Yeah. I do feel a little bit of frustration over some of the
frustrating
stuff for sure, but like, I also kind of get it.
I can't get mad at it with a second coach now. Like, especially 3 games in, I am giving Tocchet the benefit of the doubt because he hasn't dogged anyone else. It's not like he's doing this to Couturier too. That's all.
Yeah.
All right. We'll see how it turns out. Maybe in a week I'm gonna hate him, but right now
when's the next game? Thursday.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens Thursday. But
all right.
3 games.
Next one from David. And Fat Vay looked really out of shape.
Yikes!
Did you see? Dr. Evil Gritty is demanding an apology from Charlie for saying that he was doctoring photos when clearly he was stretching like. He looked like, I don't know, PS2, Tony Soprano in Tony Hawk's Underground. Like, that's
a good pull right there.
It's funny stuff. All right, another one from David. He says, whole team looks much more competent post-Torts. Yeah, I do think there's a little bit of maybe going with Torts again last year was like, it'll all work itself out in the summer. And the team was like, no, we still hate the guy.
And they hated him more than ever down the stretch. I mean, Cam York tried to fight him.
That's clear. Yeah, like they're almost in a fist fight in the locker room.
I think it's just more relaxed, and also just they're more offensively open because they're not just constantly trying to block shots, and also just the power play is more fun to watch.
It's crazy that they're getting far fewer rushes, but overall the offense is like there seems to be a plan. It's not just like, I don't know, try to get a 2-on-1. Like there's
get a fast break, things might work out.
If we get a 2-on-1, we're gonna have a chance. Otherwise, block shots. Okay. There does seem to be a little bit of a difference there, and it's woken some guys up. All right, from Obi-Wan, watching offensive zone puck possession is fun, and I do think that could be a part of the adjustment for Michkov. It was all about him last year, getting him on fast breaks. The year prior, I did it now. Torts said the year before Michkov even got here, we're going to a rush-based offense because the Mad Russian is coming over. It's the interview that led to the nickname. So we want to take advantage of what he does. Now they're doing something that maybe doesn't suit him as well, and there's going to be an adjustment.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, there's new systems all around. These guys are learning a whole new thing. And that's why I think the only guys who really don't seem to be affected are Brink, Foerster, and Cates.
Yeah, that's
because they played together extensively.
And they're the only line that established a forecheck last year. It's not crazy that a forecheck forward team is like, oh, this line that does this thing is doing well because they were the only ones that could do it.
So, yeah, it's a lot of that. But
Yeah.
I do agree. Just watching them have offensive zone puck possession and have a plan and do stuff in the offensive zone has been a lot of fun. Again, that Zegras shift tonight that they score the winner on is just such a thing of beauty, watching him work the puck behind the net.
All right, next one here from Soecrates Johnson. What up, Soecrates? Anyone else confused during the new Gritty intro? I did not see the new Gritty intro.
I think I missed that one too.
I don't know.
I mean, when are you not confused with Gritty though? Because there's always
If you're not
chaos,
confused,
right?
if you're not confused, they failed.
Exactly.
All right. The next one here from Douglas Gray, not Gary, as I said earlier. Douglas Gray. I hope Torts was watching Coots. I wonder if he seems like a hockey junkie, but also a guy who's like, I'm good.
Oh, he holds a grudge. Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely holds a grudge. I mean, he's sitting on his farm getting kicked in the face by horses right now. So
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right. And finally, from Adam S. Adam says, I need a TK goal. Like, I need air to live. That's we're on the Matvei thing, but TK is kind of like creating other stuff.
He had that great assist on the Coots breakaway.
Yeah. He also hasn't really had much goal scoring luck since like halfway through last season.
I can't believe he missed that one in the first game. That first game in Florida.
On the side of the net?
Yeah, on the side of the net, because I was jumping up out of my seat going, yeah, he tied the game.
That was one of those, what?
I couldn't believe it going.
But yeah, it would be nice to get, they're 1-1-1 and they don't look terrible, and the two top scorers haven't scored yet.
That's a good sign. That's a good sign. And
Pretty
here's
good.
the thing. At some point, the schedule's actually getting easier because I think it's Winnipeg, Minnesota, and then they reach teams at their level.
All right. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers tonight. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you got to hit that subscribe button. Follow us right here on the PHLY Sports YouTube page. And hit the like button. 384, pretty good, but I want 400, damn it.
Let's do it.
Make sure you hit that like button and set your reminder bell so you can join us live. Whenever we go live, we'll be here at 4 p.m. tomorrow with our regularly scheduled show. And tune into Philadelphia now and then, 1:30, Monday to Friday. It's not a terrible show. It's pretty good, in fact. I mean, give it a shot. Put it on mute. I don't care.
Do it.
Just give me the watch. All right. Follow us on Twitter
Give me
at
a watch. Give me
PHLY.
listen to.
Yeah. Flyperbole.
Yeah, great.
Follow us on Twitter at PHLY_Flyers. Follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. That's it. I am Bill Matz. That is Steve Jaco. Thank you very much to Brenna. Be excellent to each other.
We all silly like the mayor.